This video is sponsored by my favorite website creator, Squarespace, the best place to go when you want to get a domain or create a gorgeous website or an online store. So I'm definitely doing this video as much for myself than for anyone else because I know I talk a lot about protecting your peace and calming down on my socials, but that doesn't mean that I find it easy. Obviously, life is stressful for a lot of us, but I feel like even if you're busy and stressed, or especially if you're busy and stressed, remembering to protect yourself in little pockets or moments of perfect peace is so important because life won't just automatically slow down and become easy. So I feel like we need to create those hours where nothing can touch us and when we're completely at ease. And I think for me anyway, the biggest difficulty between me and these peaceful hours is just allowing myself the time off. I think when you're so caught up with work or life in general, and especially when you love your job or you're super ambitious and want to do a good job, the first thing you sacrifice when things get busy is your time off, when you're supposed to be recharging. Do you also feel that way, that it's easy to feel kind of guilty about relaxing when you're in a stressful period and you could be doing amazing work instead of, reading that classic you always wanted to read? But I know this is so silly because I think we all know that we need to relax and recharge to be able to do good work. Of course we can work ourselves senseless for a while, but if we just continue to push ourselves too hard for too long, that way burnout lies. So I think we have to think of our weekly hours of relaxation as mandatory. We're not allowed to use a minute of it to work or to do other draining things. To clarify, when I talk about those weekly peaceful moments, what I talk about isn't just time off work. I mean time off anything that has a schedule or means you have to be social or basically just be seen or heard by anyone else. I know some people have a hard time being alone and find it much more relaxing to be among people, but I'm guessing that most of us, even if we are naturally social, still find that being completely alone now and then is a super relaxing thing. Tell me if you agree or not, and maybe this is also just a thing for me because I'm being on socials and in front of the camera so much, which I'm guessing that a lot of you are as well. Just a bit addicted to the phone. So nowadays, more than ever, I do think it's healthy to find time where you're not seen or heard, but you also don't see or hear other people. It's a break from being social, both online and offline. My brain is very different when I'm completely alone. It focuses intellectually a lot harder and it makes reading just a joy. My brain is more hyper and frazzled when I'm around other people. Even if I'm just sitting by myself at a cafe reading, just having other people around, it makes me less focused on my own thoughts. Are you the same, or are you the opposite? You're more relaxed when you're around people? So to be alone, I need to turn off the phone and mute it and put it away face down. The problem I'm finding is that besides from being social on my phone, I also control the heating in my flat and the volume of the music or checking the weather or things like that. So I do find that sometimes when I'm reading, I pick up my phone to change the song or whatever, and automatically straight after I open Instagram or TikTok or so without even meaning to or making an active choice, and it ruins my calm immediately because that voluntary loneliness gets disrupted immediately by people shouting on Twitter. So I've started controlling the music or heating or looking things up on my laptop instead of my phone because I don't get sucked in on my laptop as I do with the sinister little phone. You know what I mean? I find that it takes a little while going from frenzied work mode down into deep focus peaceful mode, as if sort of the brain needs a palate cleanser to be able to switch settings or perspective. So say that I have 2 hours of off time in front of me in the evening. It can easily take an hour for the brain to reset or calm down, which feels so sad because I don't want to waste half my time off simply by winding down. But that being said, one thing I really feel helps a lot with getting into the right frame of mind is to rely on a routine or some kind of cute little ritual. So just having, a format to it, beginning in the same way every time, it tricks your brain into taking a shortcut to the right mood. So kind of when you go to yoga class and take that first deep breath, how it relaxes your body straight away. Or at a party when you have that first clink of champagne glasses, it puts you in the right party mode. And for me, when it comes to these peaceful moments, it's all about the aesthetics. And with aesthetics, I don't just mean visuals, like a nice space. I also mean like smells and sounds and like the texture of your clothes, and of course like different flavors, anything that like is nice to the senses really. And for me, it always starts the same way, with like deciding what room to be in, tidying up so it's like neat and pretty. And this is a bit of a tick for me. Like I actually really find it difficult to relax in any type of mess. Like a bit of dust on the floor, I don't mind. But if there's a pile of random things over there, or like a blanket isn't folded neatly, like forget about it. I'm going to have to do a bit of folding or fluffing a pillow before I sit down to relax. I am really annoying that way. But then like lighting at least 3 candles, maybe even a scented candle if I really need to treat myself after like a tough, stressful day. After that, I really take care to choose the perfect playlist. I feel like it's so important, because the whole thing about protecting your peace is just about atmosphere, isn't it? That like instantly calming mood that will like change your brain to calm. And nothing changes the mood as much as music, if you ask me. It's all about instrumental for me. And at the moment, I've been repeat listening to Elijah Fox, or like Spotify's Elijah Fox radio. It's so peaceful and calming. And like hearing those first few notes of his song Wyoming, man, is like a shot of calmness to the system. Elijah Fox is fine and good for like a hot tea or iced coffee type of session, but if it's a glass of wine type of session, I'm going to have to switch it up with like some more dramatic classical like Vivaldi or maybe Liszt. But I want to know about you. What is your go-to music for calming down? For me, these moments are always about reading novels, and for David, it's always watching films. Like both of us are lucky that way, to have a passion or like a hobby that's super calming, but also really time consuming. I know a lot of you guys have told me that you're struggling with this, just like finding something meaningful and fulfilling to do with your time off. And I get it. If you don't have a thing that you love that way, it's easy to feel that your time off is like wasted on things that you don't really care about. Obviously, I'm a reader, and I notice just how much I calm down and how like good it is for me to sit still with my own mind in a book like that. So I would always recommend giving it a go. But if you ask David, he would of course say to get into movies instead. So no matter what it is though, both David and I really enjoy the logging and list aspect. So David will log his films and create like watch lists on Letterboxd, and I have my own reading list and like rating system that I put books in a very like complicated and gorgeous Google Doc. And I know a lot of you love Goodreads for this as well. So the logging of a hobby, I don't know, I just feel like it makes it more satisfying, that having some kind of tangible proof of your progress is like nice for the brain and makes us feel like, you know, our time off is not lazy, but actually truly, really extremely important and valuable. Silly, I know, but I do feel like it adds a nice layer. Also, no matter if you ask me about reading or David about movies, we'd both say to start with the beginner stuff. Like if you want to read more and the first thing you pick up is Virginia Woolf or James Joyce, like that will just make you feel stupid and like reading is too much hard work. So go easier. Start with books that are smart and will feed your brain, but that are still more like accessible and enjoyable when you're unused to reading. Like Sally Rooney or Elizabeth Strout or Jamaica Kincaid, you know, books that are so intelligent, but still like a pure, easy joy to read. Or for that matter, why not start with my book? Because I'm definitely, as an author, in that bracket where I try to write books that are well written and voice driven enough for people who read 100 books per year, but also, you know, easygoing enough for those who read only 1 or 2 books per year. So let me know if I managed to like hit that sweet spot. I'm sure I didn't, but I tried for it anyway. Or if you want to get into movies, don't start with Tarkovsky or like David Lynch. Start with like the Before trilogy or Sarah Polley or Miyazaki for that matter. I feel like whatever type of meditation we go for, it should be enjoyable and easy and something we like look forward to the whole week, just like immersing ourselves in. So like an everyday luxury basically. Finally, what I'm really finding extremely helpful in terms of using pockets of calm to help me deal with more stressful moments in the week is to try to have one day every week when like the schedule is completely empty, like completely, totally empty. Not even planning on like going for a walk or calling your grandmother, you know, those type of thing. Because like, for me anyway, just having that one phone call plan for the afternoon, it slightly disturbs those early empty morning hours so that I don't reach the same calm. knowing that I have even like one small thing to do on my to-do list, or like one specific time I have to keep for whatever reason, it can really mess with my brain. On the other hand, if I have a whole Sunday just to reading and eating and drinking something yummy and watching David cook me food, that's like the most luxurious thing in the world to me right now. Coming out of like 2 years of extremely busy, stressful months. And I mean, even if you haven't had a stressful time recently that I've had with renovations and book publication and influencer stuff, don't you agree that it's still like the dream to have a completely empty day every week in your calendar? I definitely don't manage to do that like every week, but I do try, and it feels like super selfish and self-indulgent and lazy, but I think that's the beauty of it. The like unapologetically taking care of yourself by doing, you know, absolutely nothing but reading books and eating shiitake snacks. I love it. It's my favorite, especially if David is sitting next to me on the sofa watching a movie with headphones, so that I know that he's also having his best time. And if I can get those hours in every week, it just makes me a happier, better person. I just like myself more when I'm protecting my own peace that way. And I think we should all stop feeling guilty about wanting to spend time alone. It's healthy and just like completely reasonable, don't you think? But do tell me, what do you think and how do you protect your peace? And do you have like book recommendations or movie tips or music suggestions for us? Do share. Speaking of, I'm still mind blown over how many of you have reached out to say that you're reading my book. It's so hella surreal and extremely lovely to hear from you and see photos of my spiky little novel in your rooms. So for those of you who have already bought it, I hope that you find it a fitting read for those protecting your peace moments. Do let me know, what do you think? And give me a like if you want me to make more of these kind of lifestyle routine-y type of videos, because I sure love making them. Oh, and of course, click subscribe if you're new around here, so that I will see you next week already. Do you want to create a beautiful site and maybe start your own blog? If so, you should definitely do it with Squarespace. Listen to this. With Fluid Engine, a next generation website design system, it's never been easier for you to like unleash your creativity. So you start with like an incredible template and then you customize everything by simply like dragging and dropping. It seriously couldn't be easier. Squarespace is also amazing with blogging tools to share your stories, photos and videos to make it easy to reach your audience. And you can also auto-post your content to Twitter, Facebook or Tumblr. They also have great traffic analytics so that you can see how many people are visiting your site, how long they're staying for, where they're coming from and what they're interested in, like books or movies or music, for example. So what are you waiting for? Go get your free trial today at squarespace.com, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/jennymustard to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you so much for watching today, and I wish that you all would have a very peaceful, happy, calm week ahead. Peace, peace.